Department of State Service warns public to be wary of possible terrorist attacks during Salah festivities. Zamfara State House of Assembly establishes 29 committees. Federal government opens semi-border for vehicles importation. And on business, Federation Account Allocation Committee distributes 786 billion naira to federal government, states and local government as shared revenue for May 2023. And on international scene, a Swiss court has acquitted the police on charges of killing a Nigerian. And on sports, Gundogan is to go to Barcelona at the end of the month. Hello viewers, welcome to Standard Voice Television News. I am Fatima Ibrahim. The Department of State Services in Abuja warned members of the public to be wary of terrorist attacks as they herald the Eid al-Kabir celebrations. Spokesperson of the agency, Dr. Peter Afunaya, stated that reports written it indicated plans of attacks on worship and recreational facilities before, during and after Salah festivities. Our correspondent Alamin Ibrahim has more on the story.
According to him, the reports are corroborated by the recovery of foreign improvised explosive device from suspect terrorists during a joint operation by the department and its sister security agencies. Meanwhile, the Kano State Ministry of Education has approved Friday 23 June 2023 as the date for the commencement of Eid al-Kabir Salah break for all day and boarding public and private primary and post-primary schools in the state. Therefore, parents and guardians of pupils and students in the boarding schools are to convene their work home by the early hours of Saturday. Therefore, all pupils, students of the boarding schools are to resume on Saturday 2nd July, while those in these schools are to resume on Monday 3rd July 2023 respectively. Alami Ibrahim reporting for SVTV.
Abdurrashid Bawa, the suspended chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, has refused to write statement at the Department of State Services. Mr. Bawa, according to the report, told investigators that the DSS had no right to detain him without charges, hence his refusal to write any statement in custody. The former chairman has been in detention along with Godwin Emefiele, the suspended governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, since they were suspended from their respective offices by the President Bola Tinubu's administration over corruption allegations and abuse of offices. The Zamfara State House of Assembly has established 6 special and 23 standing committees. A statement issued by the Public Relations Officer to the House, Malam Nasiru Biabiki, said, formation of the committees was announced by the Speaker of the House, Alhaji Bilyaminu Moriki, at the Assembly's plenary. This followed a motion moved for the adoption of the committees by the Majority Leader of the House, Alhaji Bello Mazawaje. Alhaji Mazawaje called on the lawmakers to consider the adoption of the composition of the committees. According to him, the formation of the committees is in accordance with the provision of Section 103, subsection 1, 2, and 3 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, and Order 8, Rule 4, subsection A, B, and C of the Zamfara State House of Assembly Standing Orders 2012. Zamfara State pilgrims have been advised to be careful about what they do, say, or eat at Mina on their way to the Mount of Arafat. The State Council of Ulama involved in this year's Hajj exercise gave the advice at a sermon organized by the State Pilgrims Commission in Mecca for the successful conduct of the exercise. Our Mecca correspondent Samira Ibrahim has more on the story.
Kwanukan nan da za a yi kakkaje ka ci makanka abin da zai wahal da kai. Duniya ce za ta haɗu. Toilet ɗin da ana yan ƙanana ne. Ehe, kun gane abin da ka yi. Don billahi lalzi kana shiga gilon yana zai kama bugan magan ku kamar bala'i. Don haka wallahi ka ci abin da zai ɗaure ma ciki. Kada ka kama kwashe-kwashe.
He urged the pilgrims to always be at their tent and ask whatever question they have, because Mina is very wide and consistent of all people from different parts of the world gathered together for the same purposes. Director of the Road Transport in the Ministry of Transportation, Ibrahim Musa, has disclosed that the federal government has approved the reopening of the semi-border for the importation of vehicles. Speaking at the Economic Community of West African States meeting organized between officials of Nigeria and Benin Republic, Malam Musa said the development followed complaints by freight forwarders operating at the semi-border. The director, who spoke at the ECOWAS monitoring team's visit to the semi-crack joint border post, said freight forwarders had earlier pleaded that the border should be reactivated for the free movement of goods and services. Modern card-based taxis have been launched in Abuja, the capital city of Nigeria. The Nerezi company has launched this system, which will start working in Abuja before expanding to other states in the north of the country. Currently, the company has started transportation through modern means in the city of Abuja. The leaders of the company stated that they have brought these cars to show their support and to contribute to the removal of fuel subsidy, that the federal government is trying to reduce the suffering of the people of the country as a result of the removal of the subsidy. The National Emergency Management Agency says floods have affected more than 4 million Nigerians in 2022. Speaking in Uyo during the launch of the disaster warning program for the people of the country, the Director General of NEMA, Ahmed Mustafa Habib, said in the year 2022, more than 4 million people have been affected by floods in Nigeria. He added that the flood caused the death of 665 Nigerians. Over 2 million people have lost their homes, in addition to consuming 355,986 houses and covered 944,989 hectares of farmlands. And on business, the three tiers of government, federal, state, and local government, have received a total of 786.161 billion naira from the Federation Account Allocation Committee as their shared revenue for the month of May 2023. According to the communique issued at the end of the FAC meeting in Abuja on Thursday, the 786.161 billion naira total distributable revenue consists of distributable statutory revenue of 519.545 billion naira and distributable value-added tax VAT revenue for 251.607 billion naira, electronic money transfer levy of 14.370 billion naira, and exchange difference revenue of 0.639 billion naira. The communique also indicated that a total of 38.238 billion naira was deducted as the cost of collection paid to revenue-generating agencies, with 163.193 billion naira being statutory transfers for the months under consideration. And on international scene,
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
A court in Switzerland has acquitted 6 police officers accused of killing a 39-year-old Nigerian man who suffered a heart attack when they pinned him down to the ground in an attempt to arrest him. The jury said that it cannot be proven that Mike Ben Peter died as a result of the action taken by the police. When the verdict was announced, there were shouts of shame in the courtroom while others protested outside. Lawyers for Mr. Peter's family alleged that the police used excessive force when he was arrested. The protesters said that the issue is similar to the killing of George Floyd in the United States in the year 2020. And on sports, Manchester City captain Ike Gundogan will return to Barcelona and he will settle with his new club after his contract expires at the end of the month. Man City have offered the 32-year-old Gundogan a new contract, but he is understood to have settled on a more lucrative 3-year deal with the Spanish champions. Manchester City boss Pep Guardiola is keen to continue working with Gundogan, who has been instrumental in the club's treble success this session. The German midfielder made 59 appearances in the year 2022/2023 seasons, scoring 11 goals. 2 of them were goals in the FA Cup final, where City beat Manchester United, including the fastest goal in FA Cup history after just 13 seconds. And that's the end of today's bulletin, but before we go, a quick look at the major headlines. Department of State Service warns public to be wary of possible terrorist attacks during summer festivities. Zamfara State House of Assembly establishes 29 committees. Federal government opens semi-border for vehicles importation. And on business, Federation Account Allocation Committee distributes 786 billion naira to federal government, states and local government as shared revenue for May 2023. And on international scene, a Swiss court has acquitted the police on charges of killing a Nigerian. And on sports, Gundogan is to go to Barcelona at the end of the month. On behalf of News and Current Affairs, I am Fatima Ibrahim, keep watching Standard Television News.